Hello and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk a little bit about subtrusts and essentially the overview of the step-by-step processes that would be needed to properly do a subtrust. Now, just so you know, the subtrust comes into effect when one of the spouses dies. Okay, so generally we're talking about a married couple who makes a living trust, and then at some point in the future one of the spouses dies. That's when the subtrust or trusts usually go into effect. So what are the things you need to look for? And by you, I mean it's either the surviving spouse, because they will be designated as the trustee once one of the other spouses dies, or whoever the successor trustee is as designated by the settlers of the trust. So first, you need to look and see what outright distributions can be made. So sometimes the moment one of the spouses dies, there can be distributions which can be made right away. Two, you need to identify the subtrusts. There's lots of different kinds of subtrusts. Is there going to be a survivor's trust, which normally is the case? Is there going to be a credit trust or a B trust for the decedent, which is normally the case? Will there be a marital trust? That of course depends on the value of the estate. Will there be a Q-tip trust? So there's different ones that need to be identified first before you move on. You want to then create a spreadsheet that has and lists all of the assets of the entire living trust, because what's going to happen is you want to designate per the trust which assets are going to go into which subtrust. Okay, and it's hard to keep all that in your head. So you list all the real property, all the personal property, everything necessary, and then have a column or a designation whether it goes in the subtrust, the survivor subtrust, the B or credit subtrust, the marital subtrust, the Q-tip subtrust. So you make that nice little chart. You can use Google Docs or Excel, whatever you want. And then you want to establish the targets for the allocation of those and funding. So you can make the spreadsheet that has which subtrust it goes into, but then you have to designate essentially who it's going to go to, and then you have to actually do what's necessary to fund the subtrust, because essentially a subtrust will not exist if it doesn't have property in it. So you have to do all of that in order to properly get the subtrust going. You want to, along with the asset allocation, you want to make the dates, target dates. You want to have it all allocated and so forth, so it doesn't just sit on your desk for 2 years while everything's should be done, while deadlines are passing. And then you want to know that at the end of it, it'll be completing the trust administration by distributing the assets. Okay, so there's lots of different things that have to be done in order to properly administer a subtrust, plural most likely, and then we go from there. So if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and also you can give my office a call, get a free consultation. Okay, more in the coming videos.